All over the world, we find mentions of some mysterious teachers of mankind that taught humanity basics of agriculture and shelter building. Who were they and how were they connected with the global catastrophe of the Great Flood? In this episode, we will see plenty of different connections of the accounts of teachers of mankind from all over the world. It is very interesting, and I think that we should start with the connection of the number of those teachers of mankind, because in many accounts the number of those teachers is the number 7. We've got the 7 sages, the 7 rishis of the Hindu Vishnu Purana, who were brought to the Ark of Manu to escape from the global deluge. We've got the 7 Apkalus of ancient Mesopotamian accounts that taught the people from ancient Mesopotamia basic skills. And we've got, for instance, the 7 main gods, including the Quetzalcoatl in the accounts from Mesoamerica. In all of these accounts, we see the number 7 connected with not only the global catastrophe, but also with teachers of mankind. It is very interesting because, as I mentioned, in Vishnu Purana we've got the mention of 7 sages, 7 rishi, Sapta and 7 rishi sages that were brought onto the ark with Manu. And the same number of 7 people brought onto the ark can be found, for instance, in the Bible, because there we've got the Noah, his wife, 3 of his sons, and 3 wives of his sons, so also 7 other people. We've also seen the 7 Apkalus of the Mesopotamians and the 7 main gods of the Mesoamericans. It is very interesting because here we've got the connection with the Great Flood, that these 7 teachers of mankind were actually saved from the global deluge and were to teach mankind basic of agriculture and shelter building after the catastrophe. So when we think of the global catastrophe, who knows if the sudden appearance of first cities or first civilizations may be actually the same story of these 7 teachers of mankind that taught humanity and traveled all over the world to teach humanity the basics of shelter building. In Egypt, we've got the mention of Osiris, and Osiris, according to Plutarch's treatise on Isis and Osiris, was to actually untaught Egyptians of cannibalism, because according to this account, Osiris went to Egypt and saw that all of the people were cannibals and were eating themselves. So he taught them the basics of eating, he taught them the basics of love and living in communities. Another similarity can be found in the names themselves, because, for instance, one of the 7 Apkalus of Mesopotamia was the Oannes, who was a person similar to a fish. It resembles a fish, or maybe Oannes just wore the fish costume. This is very interesting because on the other side of the world, in the myths and legends of the Mayas, we've got the mention of Uana, which is a very similar name to Oannes. And Wana is also connected with water, because Wana translates into he who has his home in water. So as we see, we've got plenty of similarities, and maybe these teachers of mankind were traveling all over the world, and maybe they came by some boat, by some ship, and that's why there are all of these similarities when it comes to the water or the fish person. It is also very interesting because we had these mentions of the global deluge, but there is also a very interesting account of Zarathustrian Yima, who actually preserves, not like Noah on his ark, animals, but Yima preserves seeds of many grains in order for them to be preserved. He builds the underground shelter, the underground bank for these seeds, which is very similar to modern seed banks in the far north. So what was this catastrophe that it was needed for those teachers and for those heroes to preserve not only animals but also knowledge and seeds, I think that this catastrophe may be the catastrophe of the last ice age, and in my book Deja Vu Has Everything Already Been I provide plenty of evidence, so if you want to research more and have more sources in your hands, don't forget to check out my book link in the description below. As we see, there are plenty of similarities between these mysterious teachers of mankind. We even have the handbag or padlock theme, which can be found in Mesopotamia, in Mesoamerica, and in many other places in the world, which can show us that these teachers maybe had with them some handbags, some padlocks, or whatever this device was. However, who were they? Were they ancient aliens, as some suggests, or were they some Atlanteans or other visitors from the previous civilization? I think that we will dive deeper into these mysterious teachers of mankind in my other video, therefore don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out my other social media. That would be all for today, thank you for your attention, goodbye and to the next video.